Hey everyone. So I'm now going to talk about the solution of how I built the progress bar in Excel, which can be used then as a background in OBS and then as a virtual camera, so you can have this progress bar in your Teams meeting. So what you see here is the Excel file, and the green background can then be made transparent in OBS by using chroma key. So if the meeting is just starting, then this background is still green, but when the meeting progresses, then the cells will be made black. So then the video feed will be made opaque. So I'm using one sheet with some start times and the duration of the meeting. So I have a start time here, which I can set with a button. So there's a bit of code behind it. And then I use the duration of the total meeting to create some values for each of the cells which make up the rectangle. So this rectangle is made up of 416 cells, and each cell in this case takes about 2 seconds of time before it becomes opaque. So there are some formulas behind it. You can see it here just now, but there's also some hidden rows. So I have some rows to calculate the timestamp of each of these 416 cells, and if that timestamp is greater than the now timestamp, then the value is 1 and then the background will be green. But if the value is less than the date timestamp of now, then the value will be 0 and then it will be a black background. So let me start this, and now I've set the meeting. Yeah, so now it starts, and after each 2 seconds, then a new block will become opaque. Well, here's now a couple of blocks because it need to catch up a bit. I'm actually using a bit of VBA code to trigger this recalculation of the now functionality in Excel every second, but it also is a bit laggy. It's probably a bit too much to do this. But you can see that the progress is now there, and when I switch to this, you can see at the top of the bar now, it's a bit misaligned now, but that the progress is covering up my video feed now. Let's switch back. So I'll make sure that I'll provide this Excel file so you can use it yourself, and you have all the right formulas and stuff in there. So as I mentioned, there's also a bit of code required to make sure that this is triggered. And the code is here. It's not that much at all. So this top function application calculates and make sure that all the cells in the application are being evaluated. Since I'm using a lot of these now functions, and they must be evaluated. And I am evaluating them with this notation. I'm doing application.onTime, and then I'm doing a date add and using the second formatting. So every 1 second, I'm calling this update background again. And so this is a kind of a loop here to make sure that I'm evaluating all the cells every second. This is probably a bit much. I should probably do it just every 5 seconds or so. That's probably still enough. Then the other function is for the button, so that's just more like a convenience. So when I press the button, that fills a cell right here. Let me remove this. So when I click this button, this cell will be filled with the current date time, which indicates that the meeting starts right now. And that value is then also used in all these other cells to make sure that we have all these individual timestamps for each of those 416 cells. So yeah, this is quite a funny thing to make. I was thinking, how can I make this progress bar using some kind of Office thing, because yesterday I made this movie credits thing based on Scott Hanselman's video, but then I made it fit with PowerPoint. So now I thought, what other kind of other office tools can I use to do something fun with chroma keying and OBS? So Excel came to mind, and yeah, with a bit of conditional formatting and formulas, and just these 2 lines of VBA code, we can make this happen. I saw an alternative of not using any VBA code at all. You can also add an external data connection. So you could do go data and then get data, and for instance from file, and you can point it just to a new file which is empty. But then you can go to those properties of the data connection, and there you can click on a button and configure it to refresh every couple of minutes. But then the lowest value is every 1 minute, which I found a bit too infrequent. I like it more to update every couple of seconds, especially with short meetings. Then you can see some good progress. But if you have longer meetings, maybe once every minute is enough, and then you don't need to write any code. So this is the background of it. I'll make sure I'll post this Excel file so you can use it. The only thing is it's a bit fiddly still to set up in OBS because yeah, for me my display capture doesn't really work, so I can't make this really go full screen in Excel, just like you do with PowerPoint. So you have to use a bit of transforms to make sure you only use this inner area, which is first green and then black. That's the only thing. But once you have it set up, it's fine. Enjoy!